So welcome to Mom's Easy Eats. I'm really excited for you guys to join us today. We're going to be making a stuffed pepper soup, and we've got a lot of vegetables from the garden, and I will get right on and tell you the ingredients. So here's our beautiful fresh vegetables. We're right off going to start off with peppers, as that's one of our main ingredients. We've got some green bell pepper, some lighter Cubanelle pepper, and some Pablano pepper. And I'm just choosing to use these three because that's what I have growing. Some fresh tomatoes. We have some onion, a little bit of celery, some Worcester sauce, and some garlic. A little bit of red wine, cooking wine, that I'm going to put in the meat. A couple of teaspoons of brown sugar. Actually, it's about a teaspoon and a half. I have some beef bouillon and a lot of seasonings here. It's Italian seasoning, salt, pepper, a little cumin, some onion powder, some paprika, and I think that's all that's in there. So we'll get right on to this. Stick around. We're back. We're also going to be adding some ground beef sirloin, about 2 1/4 pounds, and some parboiled dry rice. It's pre-cooked, boil in the bag, going to be real easy, and we're going to move right along with this. So our meat is simmering nicely. I'm going to start adding the seasonings. I won't put the bouillon in just yet. And I'll probably adjust these seasonings as we go. It may need more salt or not, and I need to add some tomato paste to this as well. It's cooking beautifully. We don't want to add our garlic yet. I don't want to risk it burning on me, so I'm going to wait a little bit. I'm also not going to add the Worcester sauce or the sugar. When the meat is pretty done, and I'm going to drain it out, and then I'll add the wine and let that cook off. I also have some tomato paste I'm going to add in here. We want that rich tomato sauce flavor, as it is a stuffed pepper, but it's going to be in a soup form. So we'll return when we're ready to add more seasonings. So I'm going to go ahead and add in these bouillon cubes and let them start breaking down. And we're going to add the Worcester sauce and our garlic. We're going to let that simmer a little bit before we start adding more things. I did drain a little of the juice off of the meat, but I didn't want to take it all out, as it is a sirloin, so it's more broth than there is fat. So we'll let that cook a little bit, and then we'll come back. So we're getting ready to add our wine, and we're going to let this cook down a little bit. It's not very much. It's about 2 tablespoons. And I'm just going to add that right in there. And it is just a red cooking wine. And it's going to give it a nice little flavor. So we'll let that cook down, and then we'll start adding our other ingredients. So as the wine's cooking down, we're going to go ahead and add in some peppers and onions. There's a lot of peppers there, which is going to be some of the best part of it. And we're going to put in our onions and our celery and let these guys cook down a little bit before we add anything else. So come back and join us. We'll be getting to the good part pretty soon. So as you can see, most of our wine has boiled away. Not really any liquid in there. It's just simmering. So we're going to go ahead and add our tomatoes, because the peppers and onions don't need to cook a long time. They're going to boil in the broth anyway, so that'll be fine. So go ahead and get these tomatoes in here. Let them start cooking down. We'll come back in a minute. We're now getting ready to start adding our water. Remember, I put beef bouillon cubes in there, so I have my beef broth in there already. I just have to add the liquid to it. So I think I'm going to add the sugar right to this water. Let that start dissolving. This is probably 1.5 quarts of water. I'll adjust it as I go, as how much I need. You can make it a thick soup or a thinner soup. Now, I'm going to be adding rice to this, so I have to have enough liquid to cook the rice in it. Oh, I'm certainly going to need more water than that. But we're going to let this cook down some. That looks super yummy. And we'll come back and get ready to add the rice. So our soup is beginning to boil. I'm going to let it cook for a while, probably a half hour or so, and then I'm going to start tasting it, see if I need to add any more seasonings or not. I did add a little bit more of everything because I added more water. Right now it's quite thin. It's going to thicken when I add this rice. This is about 1.5 cups of pre-cooked dry rice. It's a boil in a bag, and I'm just going to cut this open and pour it right in and let it cook in there, and I'll show you how that looks. So it's boiling quite nicely. It's very thin. All this liquid is anyway. Well, now when I add the rice, it's going to take up a lot of this liquid, which is going to be lovely. So we'll be tasting it and cooking it for a while, and I'll come back and show you. So our soup has cooked down quite a bit. Well, not cooked down, but our veggies have gotten tender. And we're going to be adding the rice in here very soon. We're going to bring it to a nice boil and add the rice in there and let that simmer a little bit, and it'll be ready, and it's tasting very good. So the soup is boiling nicely, and we're getting ready to add our rice, so let's get to it. Here we go with this nicely boiling soup. We're going to put our rice in here and let this cook for approximately 8 minutes or so, because this is already a pre-cooked rice, and you could use long grain rice, any rice of your choice. This is what I have. This is what I'm going to use. This is going to be super tasty, and I'm super excited for it to get done. We're going to let this cook a while. We'll come back and show you how it looks. I just wanted to show you that we're keeping the lid on this, by the way, while the rice cooks. Steaming up a little bit, but I'm sure you get the idea. This is boiling quite nicely. I cannot hardly wait for it to get done. Hey guys, so our soup is getting done, and I'm going to ladle some out. This is really going to be quite nice. I should turn the fire off. Let's get some up here. There's my ladle. This is cooked up beautifully. I'll show you how that looks. But let's get some in this bowl so we can get a better look at it. This looks absolutely delicious. Let me bring you over here. We'll take a look at this soup. It's cooked up nicely. It's still boiling, but it's going to cool off. And we have this beautiful bowl of soup. It looks delicious. So our soup's all done. I'm totally ready to eat this soup. Just trying to think of things to make since we have so many tomatoes growing in the garden. Maybe next we will do some eggplant parm. Since we have lots of tomatoes, put lots of tomatoes with it. That could be nice. So our soup's all done, and I just wanted to say thank you for joining us and letting me show you my version of stuffed pepper soup. And if you would like to see more, then hit the subscription button and subscribe. And if you tap the notification bell, you'll get notified when we have new videos posted. And give us a big thumbs up, because it helps to promote our channel. And join us back here again at Mom's Easy Eats.